Welcome back, Mindflix fans, as we explore episode 2 of Archive 81. In today's video, I'm going to quickly recap episode 2 of Archive 81 and seek to tell you what I would do. This episode is going to be extra spicy, so please make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you like reviews that focus on scary movies and psychological thrillers. Also, please know that I'm going to spoil this episode, so if you have not seen it, well, you've been warned. A commercial, which we can presume is a videotape that Dan is working on, shows many different cultures enjoying their family's company. The commercial is for Wellspring, a genetic testing company. Melody reveals to a fortune teller that she is trying to track down a historian. Her name is Julia Bennett. She lived there in the 1970s and went missing because she dropped off the face of the earth. The fortune teller's third card gives everyone an ominous tone. We immediately see the death symbol, which if I saw that, I've been like, nope. She then tells her not to worry about it, but listen, if you tell me that I'm fit to die, and then not to worry about it, and that it possibly means multiple meanings, you best believe I'm gonna get the hell out of there. With that said, she does lead Melody to a mailbox on the 4th floor. This particular box is always filled to the brim. Melody assumes that might be the woman that she is looking for. Melody is then caught trying to rip a piece out, which is not hers. Then the man who wanted to open the door for her at the beginning of episode 1 caught her. His name is Samuel, which as you explore this series, you know that he's extremely important. And he asks her out. She says yes, but as she gets ready for the date, she receives a message from Dan's father. He wants to check in on Melody to see how she is doing. He sounds like she was his former patient, but you can tell that Melody was kind of annoyed with that voice message. Needless to say, the story continues. Dan is clearly having a bad day. He can't get hold of his new boss, his best friend won't call him back, and Dan dreams that his father entered his room and led him to a door. When he opens it, Melody comes out and he wakes up. When he makes a cell phone call in the woods, he sees someone jog away from him in a red winter coat. First, why is she wearing a bright red jacket and then runs away? She clearly wants to be seen. Samuel takes Melody to that opera. However, Melody is having an anxiety attack. He senses this and takes her out to a bar instead. You can tell that Melody is reacting to the music because as the music is being played, something inside of her just begins to start becoming extremely uncomfortable. She asks him about the secret sex club that the fortune teller says is on the 5th floor. Samuel tells her that she's probably talking about the Visser Historical Society. Samuel gives her a skeleton key that opens up the mailbox. She gives him a passionate kiss and he heads off to buy some whiskey for a nightcap. When Melody opens the mailbox, all the mail is gone and her new friend Jess walks up behind her. She says a woman is knocking on everyone's door asking for her. So Jess let her into Melody's apartment. It's Annabelle and she's the one who told Dan's dad to call her because she was her therapist. Yo, bro, why are you letting some random person that you don't know into my apartment? These people are really comfortable. Anyway, Dan wants to clean up the mess his new pet rat made in the kitchen. He goes into the pantry, grabs a broom, but notices what looks like a fresh wall behind the giant shelves, a product placement to fund the show. Dan then notices how each side sounds hollow. He grabs a wrench, tears a wall down, and sees dark stairs that lead down to a hidden floor/basement. Bruh, who sees a wall and starts laying hands on the wall? Dan is hella disrespectful. There appears to be a metal door that is dented in dozens of empty rooms. There are offices with files, hundreds of VHS tapes, and a room acting as a Christian faith church. He finds on the back of one of the pews etching TB and AF. Suspicious. Of course, Virgil then walks into the room. By the way, the speed at which he arrives at the house tells you that he is probably really close, which to be honest is hella shady. He begins to explain that his family's generosity was nominal. He described how his family would debate the merits of Christianity, and he took the stance that Jesus was a demon. Yikes. He then tells Dan to make sure that he never comes into the space again, just out of respect. As the story time reveals continues, Virgil explains he built a nice little company called Wellspring. He says what a wonderful gift to let people know where they came from. Virgil then explains to Dan that he never realized that Dan's father was recently involved. He also dropped this crumb for us to mull over. Dan's father, the NYU professor and therapist, had a mental breakdown. Fast forward, Dan pulls out another tape and watches as Melody hears that rhythmic, melodic sound is coming from her vent. She wanders down the stairwell with her camera recording and enters the common room. The entire space is filled with residents of the Visser, and they're practically talking in tongues. I mean, they're pretty much moaning and grunting at that time. She hides in the coat closet with everyone's coats. As they leave, she enters the room to look at the armor that holds the statue. It has the same symbol that the building has on the outside. She then hears footsteps. She begins to hide behind the furniture. The opera singer Tamara closes the door with Samuel inside. They begin to kiss, and you already know what's fit to happen.
Yeah, boy.
They take it to the adjacent room, and as their animal sex noises get louder, the tape again has a piercing screech that makes Dan cover his ears. When Melody walks back into her room, Annabelle sleeps on the couch. She tells her what has happened, and her best friend says we should leave, and that's good advice. Melody begins to hesitate, and her friend wants to know why. Melody was notified that her mother was living in the Visser, and she wants to find out the truth. Then there's a knock at the door. Annabelle tells her not to answer, but of course, she answers. The tape shows that Shivi opens the door and no one is there. But Daniel flashes to his knocking on the door in his dream when Melody opens it. For those of you who are wondering, I believe this is the opening of the other world, and as Dan is watching the video and the mold is growing into the recorder, you can begin the process of seeing that Dan is accessing that dimension. But let me continue. Fast forward, we then see Dan take Virgil's bike to get coffee and meet his bud Mark. He then tells him that the Visser Historical Society's Animus Tone was written by his sisters years ago. However, the reveals are just getting started. Mark has one of his own. He then lets Dan know that Melody's alive and well in Pittsburgh. She never died in that fire and may help Dan understand what happened to his father. If you have not seen this series, know that it's going to get extra spicy and will continue to draw you in. What do you think will happen in the next episode? And if you've seen this series, what clues do you think we should consider as we prepare for a hopeful season 2? Please write your ideas in chat, and thanks for watching.